Hi everyone, it's Anne-Marie here. I'm just updating everyone on where I'm up to with my 3D models and I guess the overall project. So the holidays have been really good. The first week was maybe a little unproductive, but we actually ended up having an epiphany and deciding on a theory. But I'll come back to that later. First up, I have my model, which I've just finished a tentative version today. So this is it here. And you can see sort of a weird shape, but inside I have varying little shapes representing trees and bushes. I can also render it here. It'll just take a short amount of time. We Taylor and I ended up just scrapping the trees, the actual trees, because when we bring it into the software we've decided to use, it doesn't render at all. So we've been limited with what kind of models we can create and sort of what materials over here we can use. But we were able to discover today how to properly export it. So I'll do this while on the video, but once I'll just do a zoom up version. So I've got a little pond in the middle, and there's a hole in the middle of the pond which drops through to underneath, so I'll show you that as well. And the bushes are sort of explosions in a way. That's how I've made them, because I didn't want them to look exactly like bushes, but they start off quite small and then go around to quite a big one underneath. And then when I come around to the actual underneath, so I'll just zoom out. It's quite a cool shot in there. I've got a couple under here. Hang on, I'll just get that in the middle, and I'll render it. So you can see it's actually coming out the bottom. So it's darker on this side because the light is up the top, and it's also a limitation as well that we can only have one light imported in. So that is my object, sort of like a double layered world, which I quite like. So yeah, so for the software we're using, we decided to use Wikitude to load our models in, and because it does have the geolocation that we need, and it doesn't have too complex a code to learn in the short amount of time. So we use a thing called Wikitude3D Encoder. So that's the tool in which we use to upload our 3D models. So it looks like this. So when I come into here, I have to package all of my materials, and that's just doing a bake texture thing, and that saves to a file. And then I also have to push C as well. Oh, here, I'll just highlight them all and then push C, so that just makes them I can never say this word, polygonal, or I just call them polys. And that enables it to be imported correctly into the 3D encoder. And then I just go export, and I've got a choice of either Collada or FBX. In this case we've tried both, but FBX seems to work the best, and I will call this test 5 because that's where I'm up to. So let's see, I've got test 2 and test 4, so I've been working on this a little while. I don't have any animations, so I don't need that, so that just lessens the image file, or the 3D file, so it's already saved. So if I come back over here and I just drag test 5 into the Wikitude, and this does take a little moment to come in, but not as much as it did about an hour ago when I had the trees in. That also, cutting them out made me realize as well that it's much easier to import into here. I do always get these errors, but it doesn't seem to affect the model appearing. The challenge at the moment is getting this in the center, because even though it's in the center for in Cinema4D, it isn't, however, in the middle. So you can see it over in the distance, and all of my materials have come in, and the trees are in there, and also my explosions. So what I'm working on this week for it is trying to get this in the center. I may just have to reset where it is in Cinema4D. I have tried putting it in the middle, but it's just not playing the game. So that will be the last bit I do for this, and then I move on to coding, which I've got an Xcode project open. I also have, that's my Xcode project, and this is the one I'm using as an example, and where I've got varying examples that I've been able to get from Wikitude to work on. So this is sort of the sample code I'm getting, and then I'll put it into my own. So I'll do another post later about the theory that we've found, because that's a whole other ballgame. That this is an update on our 3D models. So I'll leave you with the last shot of my one. Taylor has 2 others, so I'm sure she'll post about those later.